Alright, peace and greetings, YouTubers. So the 2016 AMAs, let's just jump right into it. I'm going to be very honest. I didn't plan on watching the AMAs because I'm not really a fan of the AMAs. In my opinion, the prestige and the overall standard that the AMAs had once set for themselves no longer exists. It's just, the AMAs have just really downgraded, and they continue to downgrade. And so there's just not that standard of excellence that they once had that exists. In the past, the AMAs were always like, they were only second to the Grammys when it came to award shows. And now when you kind of watch it, you're like, this is right in the mix with the Teen Choice Awards and Billboard Awards and everything else. But to be honest, those award shows are more entertaining. And so I had a few beefs with this award show. I think the first major issue I had was, one, the lack of just representation of the different genres. It wasn't even a thing of, oh, you need more black people there, but the issue was just that this was like the Disney radio pop top 40 radio clear channel playlist that all of America has to hear all the time, every 5 minutes award show. And so that was pretty much the only music that was represented. And if you're not into that, then you're just tortured. So for poor me, I had to sit there for 3 hours like, what the hell? And the other issue that I have is like, it's not even with the AMAs. Well, actually it is, because I think the standard of entertainment has just dropped in like the last 10 years. I hate the music industry. I've hated it for like the last 10, 15 years. Just because, one, people aren't buying records anymore, so the record labels are not putting the money to invest into the artists, which means that the artists don't get the opportunity to grow and evolve and work on their craft because they don't have the support behind them. And so now you fast forward, you have this entire breed of entertainers who are all very mediocre. They have just enough voice to get by, but a lot of them can't make it with that just enough voice when they get on the stage because they can't freaking sing. They have no stage presence, they don't know how to entertain, and so you have a lot of these entertainers who just exist, and they're so common that pretty much any average everyday Joe can do exactly what it is that they do. Like, just thinking back to when I was little, I never thought I would ever be interested in like being an entertainer, because when I was little, when I would turn on the TV, it was Michael doing some damn moonwalk, and then little Tevin Campbell would come out here and sing everybody up to the rafters, and nobody could sing any of his notes because he had such a high-pitched voice. And then, you know, Toni Braxton would do whatever she did, and then, you know, Madonna would come out and do her thing, and Alanis Morissette would come out with her grunge mess, and it was just all these different entertainers who were from so many different genres, but they were all so excellent. You know, TLC did what they did, and there were just so many different acts, and you had like, you know, Nirvana and Pearl Jam. There was just all these different really great acts, different genres, all of that, but they all were so unique. And they were all so polished, and it's because record labels once had a thing called A&R. You know what I mean? That's the artist and repertoire. That's back when, if you got signed, you didn't get to just come out and go straight to the studio and then come out with your song a week later, and then you get to be on the award show stage. You had to get signed, and then you had to go be pruned, and they were going to teach you how to do interviews. They were going to teach you to work on your voice. You were going to go to vocal training, even if you thought you knew how to sing. You were going to go to a choreographer, even if you weren't a dancer. They were going to teach you at least how to two-step and walk back and forth on the stage with some conviction so you could keep your audience engaged. They were going to teach you to master your craft. If you played an instrument, that's fine, but we want you to be even better at it, so you're going to go to training for that. They were going to do everything. They were going to figure out your image, figure out your sound, figure out what kind of music worked for the range that you had, and you were going to spend a long period of time out of the spotlight and not introduced to anybody until the label felt that you were ready to be out there. And so you might get signed in the spring of one year, but you might not even get to be featured as a background artist on somebody else's single until the fall of the following year. You know what I mean? And so that element is going in the industry, and it's reflective today with the artists. Anyway, let me get into the show. I didn't mean to rant right there, but that's how I felt, man. This crap was so dry. When I tell you this crap was so long, like this was just like waiting for water to boil. It just, God, Jesus. All right, so Bruno Mars opened the show. I'm not big on his single, what is it, 24K Magic, 24K, whatever it is. I don't like the song like that. I feel like he was trying extremely hard to capture or recapture the same success that he had with Uptown Funk, and so he kind of lost his way a bit. I will say that his album is pretty decent. He has some okay gems on there, but I still want to fight him for giving me 9 songs. That was like 33 minutes, Bruno? 33 minutes? That's not, I can't even get to work. You know, I try to play his album because my commute to work is like 35 minutes. I was like, dang, the album had ran out before I could even get to the parking lot. I was like, dang, Bruno, what you doing? But, you know, anyway, so I don't really care for the song that much. And even live, it didn't really do that much for me. But the second half of his performance, I think it picked up and got a lot better. He did a little bit of choreography here and there, and he changed the arrangement of the song where he did the whole Parliament and the Funkadelics, and I think that kind of made the song a lot better. So maybe if he does a remix of the song, he should use that arrangement. I'll rock with it a lot more. I do like his imaging though. He's always had really dope imaging. I like that he kind of keeps the crew with him and everything. You know, like the guys in the back. I like that. That's pretty dope. Oh, I did like that the AMAs was performance heavy. That's the one thing that they get right, is that it's going to be very performance heavy. It's not going to be, you know, too much awards given, or too many awards given out, which, you know, the awards are cool, but most people just want to see the performances. Unless you're a stan of somebody, you really don't care who's winning what. Who else? Okay, so after that, I didn't even know who this person was. Somebody had to tell me. So this was Niall Horan or something like that. So long story short, he's that boy from One Direction, and so clearly One Direction is not really my caliber of entertainment. So that's, you know, yeah, they weren't really my group like that. And it's only because, I'm sorry, there were other groups that were better than them in the past. And the only reason I ever give One Direction the edge is because at least they were better than that group, The Wanted, because that was one sorry group. I don't know how y'all let them have that 2 years of success that they had, because that was a sorry group. But anyway, so I guess he was in that group, but he had a performance. What did I write down? I wrote forgettable. So whatever he did was forgettable. I don't remember it, because listen, it was a long show, so I don't remember what he did, but the audience seemed to love it. But I don't know. I think if you're gonna come out of a boy band, you're gonna have to come harder than whatever he did, because I don't even remember what he did. And I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm just saying, you listen. When boy bands and girl bands break up, there's usually only one person who makes it out of the group who ends up to be super huge, and it sounds like it's the Zayn guy who's doing that. So Niall, whatever his name is. Sorry if I don't know how to pronounce the boy's name. Step it up, man. Fifth Harmony performed, and here's my thing about Fifth Harmony. I'm not big on them that much, and I don't really care for them, only because, once again, I've seen other girl groups come and go, and there's just something about them that doesn't really connect. And I think it's because, one, they're like a crafted group that was put together. Because, you know, they all did the whole X Factor thing, and they were like, well, we don't see any of you making it as soloists, but let's put y'all in a group together. And so there's been other groups that have been formed like that. Like En Vogue was formed that way, Spice Girls was formed that way, TLC was semi-formed that way. And those groups worked, but those groups worked because they had chemistry, and they were cohesive as a collective. And so there was something about those groups that connected. With Fifth Harmony, when you watch them perform, you're watching individuals kind of compete against each other, you know, for the spotlight. That's what I get out of it. The song I thought was okay. The performance, I liked that they had the little visuals. It looked a little Armageddon 2012-ish in the background, but that was cool. I thought that the song was okay. I'm a little confused with the lip sync and the chorus part though, because I'm like, it's 5 of y'all. Even if only 3 of y'all sing the part while the other 2 swing their hair, like, somebody's mic needs to be on the chorus at least. And then it didn't help that it was drowned out with the auto-tune. But the song sounds like if you're in the venue while they're performing it, it probably sounds really good, like a really fun party song. I hear my kids playing it all the time, so that's cool. Let me see, Chainsmokers. Oh, Chainsmokers. Okay. They're okay. This performance was better than the one they did at the VMAs, because that VMA one, whoever the woman was that was singing the chorus in the VMAs, because I don't think this was the same girl, I was like, because it was just so sharp, and just, the voice started getting flat as she kept getting higher. I'm like, see, that's what I'm talking about, that artist development. Folks will learn how to sing live if you start bringing A&R back. Anyway, but yeah, their song, I guess, I'll be glad when that song dies. It's been out all year. And I ain't trying to be a hater, but the song's not that great. But it is what it is. James Bay. I thought he had an interesting performance. I thought it was okay. The song was alright. I just wish that there was going to be like a beat or something that dropped, but then I came to understand that that's just how the song goes. I was like, okay, cool, awesome. Once again, we like to gas everybody up who comes on stage with a guitar because they're so deep. I'm like, nothing against the people with guitars, but if you're going to bring a guitar, just, I mean, bring it. Like, go in. Give me some good vocals. We give a lot of vocalists a pass if they have a guitar, and so the vocals can be, because his falsetto was very thin, by the way, but it's okay. I did like the performance, and I actually liked the song he had. I just was waiting for a beat to drop or something. You know, if you don't have the beat to drop or something, at least put an orchestra in the back just to do something. Add some kick to something. You know what I mean? Who else? Oh, did I get to Shawn Mendes? Okay, listen, Shawn Mendes I can rock with. Now, I didn't know who Shawn Mendes was either, but Shawn Mendes came out there and got it in. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing that I keep saying about these award shows. Even if you're unfamiliar with the entertainers, if they can pull you in, that means they've done their job. And so Shawn Mendes, I think he did 2 songs. I like the first song he did more than the second, but the thing is he's going to have to stop belting out of his throat. He does a lot of belting right out of here, and in like 10 or 15 years that larynx is going to be so torn up that he's not going to have a voice. So that would be my one critique for him. But I think he had one of the better performances of the evening, in my opinion. Fight me if you disagree. Who else? The Weeknd performed. The Weeknd is somebody that I tolerate. I do like his single that's out now. I like the song. I'm like, finally, a Weeknd song I can really get with. I like it. I be in the car getting it when that crap come out. But the only thing I didn't like about the performance is that I think sometimes with these award shows, because there's starting to be an element where there's more energy being put into the staging as far as the props and the visuals and stuff, that sometimes it takes away from the performance because you don't feel like you're at a live performance. You feel like you're just at a music video, but with the live feed playing with it. And so I was waiting for him to get out of the Titanic iceberg glacier ice cube tunnel, and he wanted to stay in it for the whole song. So that kind of made me feel some kind of way, and then he finally stepped out of it towards the very end. So that was my beef. And then, but I will say, he was in better voice this time, because sometimes, listen, he has a thin singing voice, and he has a high range in studio, but not live. And for some reason, he tries to hit these super high notes, and I'm like, somebody just tell this man he's not a second alto. He'll be okay singing in his lower register. He would sound a lot better live. But this was good. He did all right. I like the song. The little ice tunnel cube thing looked cool. I just got tired of it after about 3 minutes. So I was like, give me something different. But no, he did okay. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say with the award show at the AMAs. For some reason, there's not a lot of shots where they're doing like the zoom-ins of right here into the artist's face. Sometimes you need to see that close-up to see their facial expressions and their non-verbal cues just to capture the emotion that they're giving into the performance. And I think the Weeknd's performance would have been better had the cameraman done that. And I was going to say the same thing for Ariana Grande and Nicki Minaj's performance as well. I think the performance of Side to Side was much better than the one they had at the VMAs. Everything was together. It was smart that Ariana was not on that dang bicycle thing that she was on the VMAs, because she was out of breath on that thing. So she was in good voice on this one. The only critique I have of Ariana is that I just wish that she could enunciate her words a little better when she sings. But you know, it is what it is. She was in really good pitch though, so I wasn't mad at her. Nicki was out of breath after that 8 count for some reason. I was like, you was just sitting in the chair and then you got up and did 1 8 count. What you out of breath for? But whatever. But no, I wish the camera could have gotten into just a few face shots. You gotta have that good range with some face shots, and then the full stage shots. They don't do a lot of that either, where you can see the full stage. They never really do that anymore either. So there's like elements of the performance that you miss, and the cameraman be messing up, because even in Fifth Harmony's performance, they were doing some really cool little choreography, but the camera kept panning to the audience, and you see the girls in the audience, yeah! And I'm like, nobody want to see them while Fifth Harmony over here. I'd be pissed if I was in Fifth Harmony. I'm doing all this crap and getting whiplash, and y'all didn't even have the camera on me because you had the camera on some girl who was snapping herself during the award show. Like, what the hell? So anyway, Nicki and Ariana, they did okay. Who else? Oh, John Legend. Now, I will say, see, John Legend is an example of one of those seasoned performers. So he came out and he premiered a new song, which can sometimes be a gamble at award shows because people want you to just do something they already know. But I like the message behind the song. The visual was good, and he was in a really, really good voice. And so you can tell that he's somebody that comes from that era before that shift in the industry in '05 when everything went digital. So he got to go and do some A&R and do some artist development and all the stuff like that. So, you know, 10, 11 years later, he's a very polished performer. And so he knows his limitations. Sometimes his voice can go in and out, but he knows what pocket to stay in. And that's something that develops over time when you're a seasoned performer, which is kind of the flaw that many of the people who perform tonight, you know, that's something that affects them. They're not seasoned performers. They don't know what they're up there doing, to be real honest. Who else? 21 Pilots. I like the visuals that they had. Very energetic performance. I'm sure it would probably be even better if you were actually there. It'd be much better to kind of witness in person. Wasn't familiar with the song. Actually, to be honest, I don't know who half these people are. These are a bunch of stuff the kids listen to. I don't pay attention to these people like that. But they had a really great visual. And I like the energy they brought to the performance. At first I was watching, like, what the hell am I sitting through? Is this like a Vegas act, like the Vegas Blue Men mixed with Daft Punk? I'm confused, but they got it in. Justin Bieber, they did a shot from his tour, and his performance was actually okay, and that's mainly because, one, it's from his tour. You know, when you're on tour, you can run the same performance a million times because you're doing it every night for 200 shows, so that performance gets really polished. So he was in good voice. His dancers were doing what they did. He had his little band. He got it in. I don't like Justin Bieber, but I will give credit where credit is due. He did decent. I feel some kind of way about him and a lot of these people doing all this dance hall and soca and reggae, and they don't be giving credit to where credit is due, even to the fact where they'll make music videos and have nothing but dancers who don't represent the same sound and genre of the music that they're stealing from. But whatever. Justin did what Justin did, so kudos to him. I'm glad he didn't cuss the audience out and stop the show, because this wasn't a award show. It would have looked real awkward if he cussed his little Italian fans out and told them where they could go and then he walked off, or he pulled a Kanye. You know, it wasn't going to look too good. Lady Gaga performed. She gave a really good vocal. It's the song I'm not crazy over, but I do like that Lady Gaga transforms herself with every album era. I do like that she tries to do something different. And so for some people they hate that, because if you really liked her in like 08, 09, you probably might not be crazy over her now. But you know, I think people might appreciate those elements of her years down the line. Anyway, Green Day performed. Can't go wrong with Green Day. They were on point when I was in middle school and high school. I liked the message behind the song. They knew how to set it off. They just had, you know, their performance kind of gave me the nostalgia of what performances at award shows used to be like, just like 10, 15 years ago. Even with the staging and the cameras and the lighting, it just was the right kind of energy that they brought. And I'm not even a big rock head, but I could appreciate what they did. So they got it in. I'm sure Donald Trump will be tweeting about their performance. We'll be hearing about it. Sting performed. I don't talk about the legends because they already had their peak era to, you know, be critiqued. But I did like that, once again, he brought a nostalgia to the award show. And I like that they did have somebody from a different era, because I think this generation musically, and it's not the kids' fault, but they're kind of erasing the legacy of all the people who've come before. And that's why these entertainers who are out now just suck so bad. Because one, we're a very young generation now, where anything that's over 25 is ancient. We don't respect it. We don't want to hear about it. And so people aren't doing their research. And so people are coming out and they're thinking that they're doing stuff that's innovative, and it's already been done 20 and 30 years earlier and done much better. So, you know, kudos to Sting. I didn't make it all the way through the Maroon 5 and Kendrick Lamar performance because I was over the show by then. I was ready to go to bed. Like, I gotta go to work and stuff tomorrow. And so I had turned it off on theirs, but I'm sure it was good. Oh, and then DJ Khaled and the 18 people he had on stage, and Nicki Minaj and Rick Ross and Future and August Alsina and all them. I guess I don't like that song because I'm kind of like, one, to be honest, I didn't like Lovers and Friends when that came out with Lil Jon, Usher, and Ludacris. It was an okay song, but I thought the production was very, very, very simple. And I originally thought that was a remix to Mariah's We Belong Together. So I was like, why would you sample a song that really just came out not that long ago, and then you didn't even do a better job of creating a better version of the song? But whatever. But he kind of got on my nerves. DJ Khaled kept gassing up, #1 on Billboard, #1, #1. And I'm like, #1 on what? So you know I had to be shady and had to go look at my phone. And I was like, well, let me check the Hot 100. And so I went and checked the Hot 100. And it ain't #1. All right? It ain't even the top 10. That crap is at, what is it? It is at number 39. And I was like, well, maybe he's talking about the R&B hip-hop charts. And it's number 14 on that one. But I think it's #1 on, like, the rhythmic radio format. That's what he might have been talking about. I don't know. But, I don't know. How much time I got? I'm ready to wrap this up. Yeah, this is about to stop. But, you know, overall, the award show, it's not even just this one. There's a lot of award shows I just don't rock with, because they're all following the same formula of just being mediocre and giving a pass to a lot of these entertainers who really need to be getting trained. You know what I mean? They need to get training, and they just need to be pruned and primed and prepped. A lot of them don't know what they're doing on stage, and so they just fall flat. And so, I don't know. To be honest, the only award show I'm checking for is the Soul Train Awards, and that's next week. So watch that one. And the reason I say that is not because it's all R&B, but Soul Train Awards have a certain standard that they set for their performance. You're not allowed to go on the Soul Train Awards stage if you're not going to have like a full band and you're not going to really bring it. They're going to tell you to stay home. And that's what the AMAs used to do. Back in the day, you had to fight and claw to get on that AMA stage because it was so competitive and there was so much talent on the stage. It was like a Paula Abdul, Janet, Michael, Prince, Madonna, Bobby Brown type of setup where these are the people who are performing, so you had to bring it if you were going to get on that stage. Even if you had a hit, that didn't mean you were guaranteed a stage spot. Today, hell, you get one top 40 hit on iTunes and you got the main stage. You get to open the show. But anyway, I'm out. Subscribe, share your 2 cents.